Okay. Can I put a thing on screen? Um, what did I did? And then okay. Good morning. Today I'm making Doyenne, Colombia, El Tambo, Amaca. Doyenne is ONYX Coffee Lab's partnership project with female-owned, female-made. Doyenne means a woman who is most respected or prominent person in a particular field. Very cool. So I don't know what the male version is, but it's something I aspire to as well, to be the best in my field. Respect my person. In this case, it's life. So here's just a fun thing, two parts. How I make my coffee in the morning as just a human. Let's see. And then two, making specifically Onyx, Doyenne, Colombia. My favorite of the Doyenne things, and the Doyenne is like the best price for high quality coffee I have found when you get the 27-ounce bag for third wave high quality coffee. Pretty great deal. Onyx Coffee Lab always doing transparent prices. This cup score is 86, and they're not ever fudging their numbers. They're strict with it. There you go. $4.92 per whatever. Okay, here's what I'm doing. I have this old ceramic pour over that I use, and I guess I'll just go top down. So if someone's looking to make their coffee better, or if they're looking at they try coffee and they know there's something there, they're not getting enough out of it that they want, then maybe some of these things might help you. So the first concept is how can we make everything as consistent as possible and eliminate extra variables. So grind size, the method, water temperature, the recipe, the water we use, and the coffee we use. There you go. There's the basics. All right. So for me, I do have a few things over the years that have helped me eliminate those variables. One that's helping me right now is using the same pour over setup every day. That way I can really hone it in. Another one is having a burr grinder that will grind it to the same size every time. Hey, someone jumped on. What's up? Heyo. I'm doing coffee today. I'm just going to show you how I make my Doyenne. This is from Colombia, and I really like it. So for me, same setup. Shout out to Joylight. It's a really fun mug. They're a local coffee company that roasts here in Topeka. And if you go buy their stuff, I need to put their link on here too, because then I get $10 back. And you get $10 off your first order. So I'll probably put that in there. Okay. Same pour over. I wet it every time. Wet my filter. Let it get some of that stuff out. Papery taste. Okay. Then currently using these natural ones, no bleach filters. I haven't noticed a difference personally, but it seems like it's a little healthier if you don't have bleach. But see how that cardboard water tastes? Not bad. All right. Now, I've experimented with different water stuff, like heyo, I've experimented with different water things, like taking our tap water here. I've actually used a test. I can go show you, like, you can buy like a test at Walmart or whatever and see what's in your water if you want to nerd out about that and see how to hone it in. But that's the most recent one I've did. What I did this last Christmas, we did the ONYX Coffee Lab Advent calendar. Check this out. And I'm using it as storage now. Super cool. You have this thing, and each uh, day of December, from December 1st all the way through December 24th, was the a new coffee. It was so fun. We had these cards, and each day we would test out. They partnered with Bicycle, and you'd have your day card for the coffee. Check these out. So cool. Day 2, Ethiopia, right? About the coffee, the notes, where it's from, all this stuff. Is super fun. And then you'd follow along and do their things. And I was like, if I'm gonna do this, I really want it to be well done. So slowly over time, getting a better and better setup. I've had my kettle that can dial it to the exact temperature I need. I've got a bird grinder. We got this kind of. It's not the best one, but it leaves some powders and some fines. But I've found ways around that, so it's a great deal for me. It helps me stay consistent with the grind size. And then the same pour over setup every time. And I was like, one of the only things I'm missing now is to dial my water in. So I did a little bit of research. It looks like the best way, if you've got everything else in your setup consistent, the best way is to do like third wave water, to get distilled water and then buy their packet that helps. You put it in there and mix it in, and then boom, you have the same water every time. You don't have to mess with your levels. But if you don't want to spend that money, because it's just going to add on and you're not that level, the main concept is the same. Let's eliminate extra variables, keep it consistent. So I use the same water, either purified water or just my tap water. I've tried also mixing about half tap and half distilled, and it seems to be a pretty close balance to what I'm aiming for. So I'm doing this guy here with my machine here on my grinder. I dial it into. Did you see this coffee thing in the background here? We made that from. I collected a lot of the coffee bags and stuff from the first couple of years I got into coffee, and while my wife was working at Starbucks at the time, and then I later worked at Starbucks for a little bit, and they had some really cool artwork, so you can see that. But then while we were in Northwest Arkansas, I got into from Mama Carmen's ONYX Coffee Lab back in the day. Look at that. That's a OG one, ONYX Coffee. Um, really fun. So proud of the Northwest Arkansas upbringing there, and now I'm to the point where I can't even drink Starbucks anymore because um, I I guess my taste, I can, but I don't enjoy it. Um, my taste is has been refined. So what's really cool for me with the coffee is I'm actually at a point now where I can try to emphasize certain parts. And this is somewhere that I've used AI to actually help me, because I'm a little bit bothered with how AI has been given too much freedom by humans to do like art and things, and takes away from the craft of the human. In this sense, I will use it to help organize the data for me and say, I'm using the coffee here and I want it to emphasize a certain note. Let's look at and bring in the values from the World Barista Championships, from ONYX, and let's make this really well. And then like I've even had it like, hey, give me like different profiles that I would go for. And it's so fun. So then the main things I'm adjusting is my grind size and my water temperature and then my recipe. And it's really fun. Emphasize different things. So I'm gonna make a cup right now. I've got a scale here, and I put the water in it to This is damp, so it also helps with static electricity when I put it in there. I make something like 14 or 15 grams. Um, Tear my skin. Make sure I have enough water. Okay. This coffee has the notes of caramel, toasted almond, milk chocolate, and citrus. So the way I've been looking at coffee tasting um, is kind of three categories. Um, the notes of like the milk chocolate would be in this the smooth category. The citrus is that acidic or citrusy thing, and then there's like a sweetness. So what do I have? I said kind of sweet, smooth, and a citrus. They cover a lot, and they all work together. And I feel like it's the people use so many different names for them, but that's kind of what makes sense to me. Um, and especially going through like actual tasting wheels and stuff and starting to refine it, the way those three interact really gives me a profile. So what's fun is I can make a coffee more toasty, focused on the dark chocolate or the milk chocolate, make it darker. And what I would do is probably make it a little finer and turn up the heat to closer to 205. If I wanted to emphasize the citrus and the sweet, make it more light, the almond come through, um, I turn it down and do it more like a 197 to 200 degrees and a little bit finer. I mean, a little bit coarser. So my starting spot on this one is one, two, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4 clicks down. Also, the the roast time on the coffee is another thing. So this one was roasted May 25th. That makes it 2 weeks and almost 3 weeks old, which is a sweet spot, still within that sweet range. But um, the most of the coffees I like is trying to get those sweet, floral, and light notes out of them. I've really had fun with that lately, and that's probably between 2 weeks after the roast and 3 weeks after the roast ish, 12 to 22 days. Today I'm gonna do this one at my regular. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4 clicks down, and then I think I'm gonna do 202 degrees. Ready. Here we go. Oh man, I got 20 grams in it. Okay, so depending on the coffee, also the ratio is huge. I like starting with it finer. I'm more concentrated, like 15 to 1 ratio of water to coffee, and then over time, tasting it, but also adding a little water and going up to like 1 to 17. There was a coffee did lately. This one, Edison Argate, from Advent the Chiroso, and it was so unique because they made it like a co-ferment with IPA. I mean, a co-ferment with wine and beer yeast, and it was already, I think it was anaerobic too. So it was just so dynamic and sweet and rich that I had to drink that one at like 1 to 18, which is fine. It makes the coffee last longer. Really had fun with a messenger coffee thing lately that was very light. Lemon curd, white tea, honey. So nice. Really, really being specific with everything on that one. Specific recipe. So fun. And some I've been really impressed with. These weird, cool looking boxes from Elise. I think they call them, I don't remember, but this was so nice. Everyone I've tried from them is so dynamic and delicious, and the roast is just awesome. very fruity stuff that I tried with them. EliseCoffee.com. Man, so fun. So nice. All right, here we go. Got a little too much. What's sitting out here? Okay. So for this one, 19 grams. And for this, I'm probably going 16 and a half. What's 19 times 16 and a half? It's a little heavy. So we're looking at 313, so about 300. And we're at 200. And come on over here, bud. All right. I'm gonna go like 201. 201's fine. All right. We can jump it on. Okay. Oh. What's this actually? Okay, we're close. I get my timer right here and begin. Just gonna wet the grounds for this recipe. Going to, let's see. Okay. Edges. I'm not trying to over agitate it. I'm just making sure everything is wet. And now it's gonna sit. I'm gonna do like a 50-second bloom. That's what's been nice for me. I think I'm gonna push it longer today. I've dialed it in there. We're gonna do like a minute and a half bloom to 2 minutes maybe. Really let it degas. Make it super smooth. That being said, it's actually I really enjoyed how it tasted early on, so maybe I want less. Maybe I do want more gas in this already. I'm gonna go ahead and do 55 seconds in. So I did 39 grams the first pour, and especially with the fines on this one, I'm really happy to be specific because of my grinder to make sure I stay in that center on my pouring. And you can see the bubbles. There's still a lot of CO2. Looks like it's getting out there. Check it out. Can you see it? Yep. Degassing. How we doing? 142. It's doing good. Gently get those sides in there as there's some. All right. Seems like we're doing good. Okay. I've got another pour or two. We're going to about 300 grams. We're at 201 degrees, 202, I guess. This is my third pour from 190 to I'll probably finish it then because of how fast it's draining. Going all the way to 303. I'll let it sit. And I might even help speed it up here just a hair. Now we're good. 243. Doing all right. For me specifically, I don't like it unnecessarily burnt tasting. So with the fines that come on the side of these things, like right here, you can see. Oh, can you see it? There you go. If I were to scrape that off, you have these fines here that are more like even finer than espresso. Like they're um, just like the offshoots of the main burr grinder. Um, okay, so yeah, I'm getting a little more murky on the bottom here. It's doing fine grinding, so I'm gonna let it do its thing. But this is gonna be closer to 4 minutes. I've had a good taste with this grind size. As long as it's less than 340 to 4 minutes, there's not too much of that burnt or roasty flavor I'm not going for. If the coffee is made to be roasty, it's actually roasted a little darker. It's different. But because I'm specifically trying to find the lighter notes and the floral notes and the sweet, like just really understand the dynamic of it without the roast, then too much roast starts to burn that. And it reminds me of that. And I think that now I'm at a place where I can distinguish between the roast and the make, the brew. If it is it my brew that I had some fines in there, or is it that they roasted it darker? And it's only a few little checks that I have to do to even test that. So, okay, here we go. We drip down, and we're done at 4.5 minutes. I'm gonna pull it off so it doesn't get the last fines there. So here's what you can definitely tell. This is a red flag for me. Let's get the wait. Where do I get this way? There we go. Can you see the mucky in there on the edge? That right there tells me that part. The fact that here's what I did though. When I pour it in, I pour it on the sides, or you can even do like the paper towel trick. Put on a dry paper towel, or a damp one. But depending on how big your grind size is, that might be dangerous. The inside is actually looking fine, or not actually fine, but looking great. Looking just the coarser, better. All right, I'm dripping. When I would agitate it too much, or um, pour on the edges or whatever, the water either bypasses or the trying to get that extra powder on the side really made that burnt taste I didn't like. So really getting the center of it and trusting the physics has helped me a lot. Um, a lot. Now I get to taste this thing. So here we are. Enjoying this. Colombia. El Tambo. It's located far west in the western Cordillera Andes Mountains of Colombia. There is an association of women banding together with the name Amaca, the Associación de Mujeres Productoras Agropecuarias del Cauca. It's a group of over 150 women who produce coffee on small farms throughout the region, and ONYX has partnered with Amaca to bring us the product of their hard work. And here's the prices. All right. It's fun. So for this one, that citrus and the caramel has some sweetness to it. What they call the caramel note, the milk chocolate note, and the citrus, they're the things that came forth. But in all of those things, there are notes of sweet. Caramel is very sweet. Milk chocolate is normally sweet. And depending on your citrus, you don't have your natural sugars in your oranges or bergamot or whatever fruit. So the notes that come through there's a natural sweetness that I'm looking for, and it smells sweet. I don't like coffee super sweet by themselves. If you mute the citrus and you mute the smooth, um, the balanced body, I have enjoyed some, but Normally, I'm looking for a floral or a sweet emphasis with the citrus to balance out the dynamic, the tartness. It makes it way more dynamic, and then you have your milk chocolate or your smooth note. And if you can have all of them in one coffee, it's pretty awesome. Bah, it's a little buggy. All right. Yeah. So I'd say surprisingly, the citrus and the sweet, it has it makes it feel way lighter than I think it is. Because if I told you caramel toasted almonds and milk chocolate, you'd be like, okay, espresso or like rich, chocolatey rich. But because I like to emphasize the lighter things, probably the roast and the grind size for me. I mean the temperature, me really enjoying it between 200 and 204 degrees. Even at 204, it wasn't very roasty. The citrus, mm, it just does something special. And to me, this is way more dynamic. Someone could easily, in my opinion, at least how I'm making it, with my water, the citrus could someone could bring forth another note there. I could see a taster saying, I can see a taster even going closer to an orchard fruit, like a plum or a peach or nectarine, maybe even a apricot, which is probably what talking about the almond and the citrus. Put those together. I love how smooth it is, and yet that citrus still goes tip of my tongue, side of my tongue. So fun. Hmm. Yeah, I could easily see it being like almost like an Earl Grey bergamot and like chocolate bitters, but it's the sweet acidity. The bitters is because of that citrus. So fun because previously in my life, doing coffee tasting, I would see notes and sometimes it'd hit and sometimes I'd be like, what? And then I started learning more about tasting and was like, wait a second. The notes are like the very last thing. Makes a lot more sense to go, what do I smell? What do I smell with the dry beans? What do I smell with the ground beans? What do I smell with the brewed? Then, what do I taste immediately as far as where it is in my mouth and what it's doing? And keeping it real simple. It's arbitrary to pull what it tastes like or reminds you of. So somebody might say, "Oh, it reminds me of a certain type of orange orange chocolate covered candy," and then I'm like, "Well, it's reminding me of whatever." And then the note is almond and citrus, and you're like, "It's all different, kind of." Sure, but they all come from the same coffee and different nuances to that coffee. So if we make it differently, sure. But if we're both tasting the exact same coffee, the exact same way it's made, then we can both say, "Oh yeah, it's hitting me in the same place on the mouth, and that I have an association with this." Some of it's just our incomplete profiles that makes it a discrepancy. Other of it is just that we haven't taken the time to notice. Like with anything, if we just do it for whatever, if someone just drinks coffee for the caffeine and they don't care and it's whatever. Yeah, super nice. I'm really enjoying this. I'm gonna try the hack. Have you ever tried this one? Swallow. Breathe out your nose. Forgot what it's called. It's like retronasal something. It's fascinating stuff. Because your brain and your um, taste buds and your nose smell are associated closely. There is a inner nasal cavity. You can get like an aroma from the inside out. It's really fascinating. And when the first time I did that, I was like, oh my gosh, especially with the floral nose. It's crazy. So the spray like this, or even more aggressive, is what I like to sip. But then sometimes to get more dynamic with it, like get another perspective, I do like a fuller gulp and just put it in my mouth, let it sit there. It's just so fun. And then as it cools, this gets sweeter and even more pleasant. All right, that's all for now. I just wanted to bring you guys in on my thing. This is something I do anyways. So if anyone had fun or enjoyed it, they can use what they want. Go connect with a real person out there today. Look them in the eyes. Have a great day. Love you, bro.